Hello, you bigots. How's it going? Man, I'm getting old. I don't like it, but it's true. I used to be able to handle 5 videos a day. It was easy mode, and now I can't keep up because of it. This Week is Stupid is delayed. So I'll be releasing This Week is Stupid tomorrow at the usual hour. I just I don't know. I felt so tired. I overslept. I took a little bit of a break. Went to the circus. That was kind of cool. And it was also a very depressing Week in Stupid as well. I guess that didn't help. But anyway, we're here. We're gonna have some fun. We're going to talk about Velma. Yes, Velma. They're making an adult film. Well, it's not an adult like Velma is going to do the nasty, although she might. It's, I guess, a TV show designed for a mature audience, having Velma from Scooby-Doo, played by a black woman, of course. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Blizzard deciding to promote VTubers. I got it from 3 different sources now. I mean, it's happening. I don't know if it's going to materialize or not, but there are conversations within the office, basically. And that seemed like a good idea. I mean, Blizzard does have the technology to create VTubers, Overwatch VTubers, right? And with Blizzard animations and Blizzard art style and stuff like that, they could pull it off, but it's going to be cringe because it's going to be corporate. Imagine seeing your VTuber saying that they support the current thing. Probably not what VTubing is about, but I would like to see them crash and burn, so why not? I did go to Clown World, yes. I gotta say, clowns at Circus, man, like they're really bad. I don't know if anyone likes clowns. When I was a kid, I found them hilarious, but maybe the ones that I seen weren't that good, or something happened. But like most of their shtick was, oh look, this guy tripped and fell, ha ha ha. Oh look, he kicked the other guy in the ass. Oh my god, that is so funny. But then you also have, like, after the clowns do their thing, you have this type of stuff. I can't play you the music because it's copyrighted material. But like some of the performance, I mean, it was amazing. I don't know if I managed to capture it on camera properly, but when you're there, it's breathtaking. Let's put it like that. I mean, look at this, right? If she fell from that height, she would have broken her neck. I mean, I don't know if I managed to capture just how high this thing was. And I couldn't get all of the recording. I mean, this is just the beginning of the act. Like, she did some really, really difficult acrobatics there. And it was very breathtaking. And in a way, it reminded me, like, you know, this is what art used to be about. I mean, you can look at it and you can notice the beauty. I mean, the movements, they're very elegant. The thing is death-defying. And it's not just that, but, like, not many people can pull this off. Like, this is very difficult to do. And she's risking her life for just one show. But this is what art used to be about, you know? It wasn't political. It wasn't about, like, anyone can do it or anyone should do it. It was, like, some very, very talented people that could pull off some very difficult things. And it was absolutely beautiful. There were many more things like that, like this. There was also a guy which managed to pull off some also impressive performances. But yeah, I did enjoy my time at the circus. I gotta say, it was very beautiful, and I do recommend people go to their circus, whatever it's in town, because there are entertainers there who do require our patronage. They do really great stuff, and you know, they make money from you going there. Let me see if I have another one, because I think I managed to take another picture. Oh yeah. Oh, I think this is the lady from before. Yes. There were 2 ladies that did similar performance, and they also played on very beautiful music. I think this one was Imagine Dragons from League of Legends. I personally like the one with the circle more, but this one did also really great. Unfortunately, like where I was sitting, I couldn't catch the whole act because of the cables and the wires that were in the way. So there's nothing I can do about that. She did have a nice tushy, if you're wondering. So that's what you're missing. I guess this is like YouTube's way of censoring, right? This is making sure that the video stays monetized. But I can't imagine just how difficult that must be. You know, like going on these... She doesn't even have a safety net. I mean, look, if she falls from this height, she's probably gonna be... No. If she falls from this height, she's going to be in a lot of pain. Like, look how tall it is, okay? Like, this is where the stadium is at. Just for reference, right? This is the size of a person. And this is how tall, how high up she is. And there was also a guy, I didn't film the guy's performance because my camera went off. But, like, he was kind of like an Egyptian god. You know, like, very muscular, very well built. He had also a very interesting trapeze act. And I think it was actually more beautiful than all the girls. So, yes. Hello, Cosmos. How you doing? Bring bread? No, it was just the circus. The thing is, like, I did buy something from the circus, even though it was incredibly expensive. Like, their prices were outrageous. I think it was, like, something like the equivalent of, like, $50 per popcorn, you know? But I realized that they make money from the sales. So, like, buying stuff from them is actually helping their business. Yeah. Acrobatic feats are still cool to this day. I have nothing interesting to say, but here is body. Rustavicius, you always have something interesting to say. What happened today? Yeah, I didn't film the big buff man because I ran out of batteries from my phone. Alright, let's talk about Velma. Alright, now that we dealt with the circus, let's talk about the different type of circus. I'm probably going to make a video about this tomorrow because it's just... why do they keep doing this is what I don't understand. Like, why? I mean, okay, you know, like, every time it's an IP that I grew up with. Like, first of all, like, they only tackle the IPs that I grew up with. Like, why don't you tackle an IP that you like? And I also noticed, like, they stay away from the IPs that social justice activists like. Like, they're not fucking with Buffy Vampire Slayer. Did you notice that? I think they wanted to, but Anita Sarkeesian started complaining and whining. But other than that, right, like, so they go for an IP that I like, and it's like the required woke washing. Like, I know at this point, like, you're forced to do it, okay? Like, let's be honest, like, Netflix constrains you to do it, like a little slave on a plantation. You just have to, alright? Like, if Masa Netflix tells you to do it, you gotta do what Masa Netflix says. I mean, you can't say no to that. I refuse to believe anything else, alright? Like, anything else is misinformation. Like, you are constrained to do it. So, this is not even shocking. It's like, oh, the internet is out. I don't believe it. I don't think the internet is outraged anymore. Like, all the outrage is gone. The only people that are outraged are, like, the 5 shills that you paid to be outraged on Twitter. Like, literally, that's it. No one gives a shit that you're skin painting Velma right now. Like, no one, you know, because no one is watching. There is no audience for this. No one cares. So, that's not even the main problem. The main problem is that this is now an adult thing, right? So, I can't show you the whole picture on YouTube. But it shows like a guy with his head cut off in half and his brain missing. I don't want to see that in a Scooby-Doo. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing this, okay? So you have this person decapitated on the ground, and next to it there's like this lady coming out from the shower, and she's like covered in bubbles and foam, and she's naked. Right? So like what they're trying to say is that, oh my god, they're edgy. They're very edgy. It's like, look, I don't mind edgy shows. I mean, South Park used to be edgy. Right? The problem is that if you're edgy and you're also trying to be politically correct, it doesn't work. South Park wasn't politically correct. You know what South Park did literally in the pilot episode? In the pilot episode, South Park had Santa Claus fight Jesus Christ in a time where George W. Bush was president. In a time where America was as Christian as it was ever in my entire life. Right? So, hello, Soken Poop. My point is, I don't even think that people care about the fact that you skin painted Velma. People are upset over the fact that you're ruining their childhood. It's like making Scooby-Doo show smut and also have like naked women in it and all of that, and it's not going to sell. Like I'm telling you, this will flop. There is no way that this is going to do great. I wish I could short sell shows. You know, the same way that they're short selling GME and you can short sell a lot of I wish I could short sell shows. I would make so much money. Okay, it would take me just like 2 or 3 seconds to look at it, and I'll tell you like, okay, well, this is not going to sell. Yeah, those were the days. On the other hand, I just gotta say, I never liked Scooby-Doo, so there's that. I only watched it because back then you didn't have like a computer, and you couldn't choose what you wanted to watch. So you had to watch Cartoon Network. And watching TV meant that it has a schedule. And Scooby-Doo was, I believe, in front of the thing that I actually wanted to see. So I had to watch it out of boredom. Like, there was nothing else. But yeah, I never liked Scooby-Doo. It didn't make sense. Like, even when I was a kid, I was like, why is it that they keep unmasking all of these villains? And they notice that none of them is a ghost. And supernatural doesn't exist. But they, like, the next episode, they still get frightened. Like, the next episode... I never understood why they never have a gun. Like, you would think that after the 5th monster chasing them, they would just buy a gun. But no, they never got a gun. And another thing that I never understood is, like, why is it that some of these villains... Like, for example, there was this guy who owned a big mansion and he wanted to scare, like, some buyers from the mansion. It's like... The guy was a doctor. Why was he doing all of these intricate traps and shit when he could just make money being a doctor? And, you know? So, even if it was a kid, that's one other thing. Like, I notice progressives, they always go, it's like, oh my god, like, this is for children, this is for children. And I'm like, dude, I was really smart when I was a kid, okay? I wasn't mentally challenged, I was just young. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island movie was pretty good. I agree, yeah. There was another one that I really liked, Scooby-Doo, and the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, yes. Like, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo was actually really great. Because it actually had ghosts. So I love that. And I think it also had, like, a hot woman in it. I was a teenager back then. Yeah, the thing with Scooby-Doo is that, okay, fine, you know, you got Scooby-Doo, but then you have, like, 12 spin-offs of it. Like, I don't know how popular Scooby-Doo must have been, but I guess it was, like, pretty fucking lit. You know, I don't know the ratings of it, but I guess they must have been sky high because... Okay, so they had, like, the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And then they had Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. And then they had Scooby-Doo Kids, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, the New Adventures of Scooby-Doo. I mean, there's, like, 8 different shows, and then you have the movies, and I'm like, dude, the show is not really that good. Meanwhile, other shows that I like Pirates of the Pirates of Darkwater, got no love. You know, SWAT Cats, that got, I think, like 2 seasons, and that's it. But like, no, Scooby-Doo is like, like, why the fuck is it getting so much popularity? I blame the Americans. No, not Daphne. Like, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo had a sexy villain, I believe. Why do hacks confuse being edgy with being mature? I think I know why, to be honest. I think I know why, right? Like, when you're at home, especially if you're in a religious background, like, the first thing that your parents tell you is not to curse, right? It's like, it's called poor parenting, really. Like, if you have a 5-year-old and he drops N-bombs left and right, the parents aren't going to look good in society. So, the first thing is, like, you're being told not to curse. But the kids, they notice that adults curse a lot, right? So, like, the first thing that a child does when he's not with mommy and daddy, like he's in the playground, he starts cursing to look mature. But most people grow up because you start realizing, like, it happened to me as well. I used to curse as a punctuation sign. But then I noticed that cursing too many times ostracizes you. Like, girls don't like that. Other people don't like that. So I had to grow up, and I realized, okay, well, I shouldn't curse all the time, right? Like, I need to be an educated person now. I'm a lawyer and shit. And so I stopped cursing, because you grow up. But, like, the thing with social justice activists, I think they never grow up. Like, they view cursing as a way of rebellion. But the thing is, like, let's be honest, you know, the F word. Like, no one cares about you saying fuck anymore. You can say fuck as many times as you want. Like, it's not edgy, right? The N-word, however, is edgy. Like, the N-word can get you fired. Saying fuck back in the Christian days didn't get you fired. Like, you know, like, if it was on television, you might get a couple of people upset. But, right, so the N-word, the other F-word, right? Like, these are actual curses now. They're far more offensive than fuck. Cunt used to also be one, right? Like, if you used to say cunt like that, that was a problem. I think, like, when Hillary Clinton was winning elections, in the minds of the blue check marks, but now it's not. But my point is, like, yeah, if you want to be edgy, you need to use those words. I'm sorry, like, that's what edginess is. But they're, like, so ingrained in American culture that you can't use them. Stop using them in my chat, please. You're getting me in trouble. Fucking hell. Don't Romanians explode when they don't curse for a day? Man, like, I do have to say that Romanians, they know how to curse like it's poetry. Like, you can have a Romanian curse for 1 hour straight without repeating itself. Like, that's the rule, right? Like, you need to be able to keep on cursing without repeating the same metaphor or the same epithet. It's kind of difficult to do. Like, I don't think I can do it in English. I can pull it off in Romanian, probably not for an hour, but I can pull it off for 30 minutes. I remember when we never had a word that was considered to be Voldemort. Yeah, I mean, this is what blows my mind as an Eastern European. Like, we do not ban words here. Like, even the N-word, right? Like, this is the most dumb thing about the English language, and no one has explained it to me. So let's take the word fuck, right? Like, it used to be the F word. So the idea is, like, you're not supposed to say it because it's a bad word, right? But there are contexts when you need to say it. Like, for example, Billy said it, and you need to tell on Billy. You need to be the rat. You need to be the rata. So you go to your mom and you're like, Billy said, and you can't say fuck, right? Because if you say fuck to your mom, like, she gets upset. So you need to say, like, Billy said the F word. Now, you're thinking about the word fuck. And in your mind, you're imagining Billy saying it. And your mom knows what word you're talking about. In her mind, she also knows the word fuck. But you have to pretend like this childish game is the same thing with the N-word. Like, for example, when Joe Rogan had the N-word compilation, if I wanted to talk about it, because YouTube policy, I would have had to say the N-word. Right? Like, that's how it works. Even though, like, the compilation clearly says it, I'm not saying it towards a person. Like, no one is offended of me saying it, but you have to do this. And I think I know why this is also happening. And by the way, like, this is towards, I don't mind that YouTube bans the word, because it's more towards the content creators' protection. We live in the world of sound bites. Exactly what happened to Joe Rogan, right? Like, clips taken out of context, like 3-4 seconds clips where the person says the thing. And the problem is, like, if you have to explain that there's a lack of context, you already lost. No, you're not shadow banned, I can see you. If you have to explain that there's a context, you already lost. So that's pretty much how politics work in the age of TikTok. It's like 3-4 seconds sound clips, sound bites, and then they push it out into the public, and they can ruin careers and reputations. It's pretty much why Justin Trudeau never spoke with the truckers. I am 100% sure that this is the reason Justin Trudeau hid in a bunker when the truckers came on. Because all it would have taken would have been a soundbite of him, like 2 or 3 seconds of him, where he says something disparaging, or, you know, is caught in a altercation with a trucker, and then his career would have been over. Even though, like, I know a lot of people realize that Justin Trudeau is the man of 1,000 faces, you know, with blackface and with Indian makeup and all of that. The main problem is, like, yeah, the soundbite is worse than that. Like, he wouldn't be able to say, oh, well, I did it when I was a kid. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Again, like, I understand, like, some situations, right? Like if, I don't know, if Joe Rogan would have gone up to a black guy and started hurling slurs and insults, yeah, like, fine. But like, if you're talking about the word in the context, like, okay, you're reporting the news and someone else said it, like, that doesn't exist in Eastern Europe. That concept is alien to us. Like, the idea that one word is banned. And what's interesting is that there are cultures that have nothing to do with American culture. Like, for example, the Swedes, right? So in Sweden, they also banned the N-word. Like, even though, and this is a complete American imperialism. Because they don't have the word in their language. They don't have, like, the same history that the United States does. But they ban it anyway. And you're like, what the fuck? Why? Like, why is it that in Sweden the word is banned? It makes absolutely no sense. Swears are only for grown-ups when they're really angry or get cut off in traffic. Man, I really remember that. It's like, one of the things, and I think, like, if I'll have a kid, I'll try my best not to do this. Like, you have a rule for the kid, and you break the rule, right? Like, for example, you tell the kid not to curse, and you're cursing. It doesn't really make sense. Like, that really fucks with the mind of the child. It's like, I really hated this when I was a kid, right? Because it made no sense. It's like, why are you telling me to do something that you can't do yourself? You lose respect for the parent. Like, I remember, like, losing respect whenever my parents did that. It's like, if they set a rule, and they're the ones breaking the rule, like, to me, it really pissed me off, especially if I got in trouble for breaking the rule. Cursing was one of them, but, eating everything off your plate. Like, this happened with me when I was a kid, and it really bothered me, right? So I was told to eat everything off my plate, but I constantly noticed that my father didn't eat everything on his plate. And I got really bit upset about that. It's like, well, you know, why are you doing this? Like, why is it that I have to eat everything on my plate, right? Didn't seem fair. And there's a lot of examples like this, and of course, you know, the parent can win the argument on the spot, right? Because, like, he's the parent. But you just gotta you gotta remember that the kid does have a memory, and that they're going to hold it against you, you know? I mean, during my rebellious teenage years, I had a lot of grudge because of all the things that added up. What if the parent says don't drive, but he drives? No, because that actually makes sense, right? Like, you need a driving license to drive. So I kind of get that. Like, that didn't seem unfair. It's like, okay, well, you need a license to drive, and when my parent was my age, he didn't drive, and, like, when I'm going to be 18, I can take my driving license, and, yeah. I can smoke 5 packs a day, but don't do it, son, because you'll get cancer. I understood that as well. It's like, okay, it's an addiction. Like, my father literally can't quit. He's got a problem with it. Like, he regrets. Like, that's another thing. You know, like, my parents regretted that they were smokers. They were constantly using the argument that it's unhealthy. They're spending a lot of money. But they explained that they're addicted and they can't quit even if they want to. I didn't find that unreasonable at all. I was a kid, alright? I wasn't a moron, I was just young. Like, I could understand certain things. But then, like, the ones, it's like, okay, don't curse, right? And they're cursing. Like, that's something that blew my mind. It's like, why are they doing this? It's like, why is it so hard not to curse? Like, if I can do it, if I can choose not to curse, why can't they? V, pass your driving exam. No, I don't think I can know how to drive. It's one of those things that eludes me, right? Like, there are things that I'm good at, there are things that I'm bad. I can go through med school, I can go through law school, I can't fucking hold a vehicle on the road. I'm sorry. You know, it's for my safety, for yours, for your mother's, it's best if I don't drive. The big difference in Asian households, there's really no place to clean up. You have a bowl of rice, Oh, come on, it's not like you always eat rice. Is this an actual thing? Like, do people in Asia always eat rice? I mean, they have ramen, they have other type of food. So the entries are shared, you only pick up, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Do your troll parents have such standards? Yeah, I think my parents were trolls. How did you guess? You can do it, V, don't give up. No, because every time I try, there's people criticizing me about it. It's like, it's a hassle. I might do it, though, after I finish paying the mortgage for my house. Because right now, like, my wife wants to get the driving exam. And I told her, look, last time we both did it, it was financially crippling. Because it's actually expensive to do the whole driving school. So, you know, you do it this time because you have to go to work. You gotta leave the house. Like, I can work from home. So you're going to do the driving test, and I'll do it after you, and that's how it's like. V too smart to drive. You know, the thing is, like, so the city I'm in is not the last, but the second last when it comes to probability. Like, only 21% of the people who attempt the exam manage to pass. But if I really wanted to, I could just move to a smaller town and take the driving license there, right? You don't really have to move. You just change the paperwork, right? Like, you find a person in that town, you pay the money, and that person claims that you're living with them. So now you can change your ID and you can take a driving exam there. And there's many people that do this. And usually, like, you find a town that has only 2 intersections and 1 parking lot. And a lot of people manage to pass the test that way. Like, if had I really wanted to, like, if I legitimately wanted to, I could have got the driving license. But I don't want to, you know, like, play the system so that I don't feel comfortable with driving and then I do an accident, you know, because that would have been the worst thing ever. So I just don't know. Bring a bottle to the exam. You can bribe, like, so there was a scandal in my city that a lot of instructors were taking bribes. Apparently it's, I believe, $1,500 according to the papers. But again, like, why would you do that? Like, if you know you can't drive, and you know that you're not comfortable at the wheel, why would you risk, you know, like the license is there to protect you and others? Like, why would you risk getting it and then get into a car crash? It makes absolutely no sense. Is it like copium? No, I legitimately don't like driving. It's something that I don't enjoy doing. So if you're not passionate about something, like, whatever. And I don't. It's also that I don't need to. Like, I'm not the type of person that enjoys traveling. So yeah. What the fuck, 1,000? Well, yeah, I mean, you do realize the guy can end up in prison, right? If he takes bribes, lose his job and reputation. You aren't a woman or a child, men drive. Well, I'll tell you what, Peter. I pay men to drive me. How about that? Like, I bend others to my fucking will. I pick up my smartphone, I go clickety-clack, and I summon vehicle. And then the person drives me like I'm some fucking royalty, Peter. You are the guy that drives. You see a car driving and you think of me? No. I am the one that tells you where to fucking go, Peter. I am the one sitting on the back of your fucking car. And I don't have to deal with that shit. When your car breaks down, I'm not there. I don't give a fuck. When your car runs out of gas and you have to pay from your own money, you wage cagey, I don't care. You know what I care is when I get into your fucking car and tell you where to take me. Because you are the one that drives, Peter. You are the ones that... Yes, you drive me. That's right. You know your place. That's good. I do not want to drive. I do not want the hassle. You know what, Peter? If you do a traffic violation, that's on you, buddy. And when they take away your driving license, I will find someone else. You do not get to tell me that, oh, well, men drive. Wagey cages drive, Peter. Real men, they summon the Uber. That's why it's called the Uber. I get to... See, that's copium, chat. That's actual copium. No, but not ironically. I don't give a shit. I don't even like driving games, so... There's other things that I genuinely want, and I'm upset that I don't get it, like super chats, for example. But when it comes to driving, like, no, I don't like it. When it comes to streaming, I can admit, like, yeah, I should improve. I should do a lot more effort, like find a co-host, stream at regular hours. I do agree that when it comes to streaming, I can do a better job. But when it comes to driving, I literally don't give a fuck. If you have a car, enjoy getting taxed out of every orifice. Apparently in Romania, like someone did the math, it's around $200 per month to have a car, like taxes included, divided by the number of months, gas, mechanical repairs, all that shit, insurance. Like, well, I don't even need that. I don't understand. Simon, get chickens. Should I get a cow as well, right? Just because my wife wants it. Should I get like all the animal husbandries now? Where do we stop? Get chickens. Remove my wrench. I hate the wrenches. Did I give you a wrench? I don't think I gave you a wrench. Let me check. Like, did I give Zenith a wrench? Hold on. The computer is catching on. And thank you, Harambe. I appreciate it. Is Harambe still alive? Oh yeah, Zenith does have a wrench. Alright, I'll take it away from you. Okay, good. That's it. Glad that's over with. No more moderating Zenith. I've had one of my cars for a decade. You drive well enough. The thing, like another thing that people don't understand is that not all the cities are the same. Like maybe where you're living, driving is actually fun. You don't know my city. Alright, like you don't know where I live. The problem with my city is that there's no parking place in my city. People park in the middle of the fucking road. Okay, in intersections, people park. You don't see the signs at intersections because people park. And then when you actually do want to go, like let's say you want to travel somewhere, do you know what happens? You don't have a parking space. Like I was actually laughing with one of my colleagues who was too lazy to walk towards university, and he would take a car. And I pointed out, like, look, I'm walking, and I managed to get to class in front of you because like the overwhelming amount of time that you're driving, you're looking for a parking space. Like there's a lot of other shit. Well, thank you, Master Dravla, for the 50 Norwegian kroners. People are fighting over cooking oil. Yeah, I still don't know why that's happening in Germany. Like, cooking oil doesn't appear to be a problem here. Baby formula in the US, like, they're so weird. Because it's so random, right? Like, I don't know why baby formula, out of all the things, are currently lacking in the US. Thank you, number 3, for becoming a member. I will teach you to drive. Dude, it's not about, like, teaching whatever. You know what? I don't even want to learn. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to make YouTube videos. You thought it's 50 North Koreans? I'm going to use that from now on. I'm going to troll Norwegians. Every time they super chat me, I'm going to say it's North Koreans. Imagine fighting over seed oils. No, imagine, like, not understanding what this is about, right? Because, like, a lot of people are like, why don't you cook without oil? Why don't you cook with... Well, first of all, vegans on suicide watch, right? Because, like, imagine making a salad without oil. Like, you got, like, all these leftists in the German government and the German press, like, encouraging people to be vegans. Yeah, good luck making a salad without oil. I mean, technically you can. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it tastes like shit. Right? You're already forced to eat like a human isn't supposed to. Like, you're not the hunter-gatherer society. You're now just the gathering society. Oh, thank you for the 5 run, Christian. But, as I was saying, right? So you now have to eat the lettuce, and you can't even have oil in the lettuce. But fine, okay, that's not the problem. The problem is the restaurants, which already suffered during the pandemic because of the government. And on top of that, you have the bakeries. Like, how are they going to make bread without oil? Like, you can't cook bread without oil, so now the prices go up, right? It's all interconnected. It's interconnected, chat. Thank you, Cameron VC. I did ring. You can make butter with heavy cream with a strong blender. I think like the price of butter has gone up, and obviously, you know, there's workarounds, but they're probably going to be more expensive. Cause like if you're a bakery and you have to get all the staff earlier in order to do the butter, in order to cook the bread. I don't even know if you can cook the bread with butter. And I don't even know if you can make salad with butter. Like I never tried. I don't think it would be as tasty. But yeah, no, like, it's just, like, weird. Like, that's not even the main problem. The main problem is, like, why exactly cooking oil? Because I would have understood if, like, grain was missing. I would have understood if, I don't know, potatoes were missing. But no, it's just cooking oil. Like, everything else is there, but the cooking oil isn't. And then the butter. Like, the butter makes sense, right? Because, like, most people are like, oh, well, I can't fry with oil, so I'm going to fry with butter. Oh, holy shit. Thank you, Fennel, for the 20 pennies. AV, half of my son to be, my soon to be worthless money. My president seems hell-bent on destroying our economy. Well, see, I don't know if you're from Peru or you're from the United States, given the super chat. Like, I literally don't know. Because it seems to be a trend worldwide. In the European Union, there's also a trend. So, like, if you look at the Great Reset, you know, it sounds very ominous. It's like, what is the Great Reset? The United States debt has piled up to such an extent that, like, some economists said that even if the US would sell all their assets right now, they wouldn't be able to pay the debt. And the problem is, like, this isn't sustainable. Like, it's going to collapse. And when it collapses, people are going to be very, very upset. We're talking about levels of upset that we haven't lived through. Like, food riots aren't pretty, right? So, the whole shtick is that politicians, what they want, is to have, like, a controlled demolition of the economy. So, it's not, like okay, if you're not using the dollar, you're going to use something else. Like, they can't use the gold standard because they don't have enough gold. They can't use like another type of fiat because, like, well, that people would not trust it, right? Like, why are you just changing one fiat for another? So what they want to do is, like, this whole, you know, I guess, digital currency, which is, like, the digital one. And the purpose of it is to control the population, right? Like, if people are going to get angry, like, if you know that in the future people are going to cause riots and they're going to be on the streets, you know, demanding justice and whatnot, well, why not control them so it doesn't get to that? And who controls their population the best? China, right? So why not adopt the Chinese model? That's pretty much what the Great Reset is. It's not like a reset of capitalism. No, it's like a controlled demolition of the shit show so that the people in power maintain power. So that the people in power aren't held accountable for what they did. If the US takes over Canada, that can erase the national debt. Yeah, but, like, the problem is, like, most nations function on debt now. You have the politicians that are used to say, oh, vote for me, I'll give you free shit. And then when the politician gets into power, they either lend money or print money in order to give that free shit. So like, if politicians weren't able to give free stuff, a lot of people would be out of a job, right? So the thing is, that is now the way of life. And if, let's say, the US would just, as you suggested, you know, invade Canada, but let's say it's not as drastic. It's just like the US would say, yeah, we're not paying our debt, fuck you. No one would lend money to them then, right? Like, you don't want to lend money to the person that you know doesn't pay back. So that's when you would have the problem. But I'll tell you another interesting problem, right? Like, let me see if I can find the petrodollar so I can explain to you why the US isn't affected by inflation. But it might be, right? So, if I find a chart with the petrodollar. Okay, here we go. So, I think it happened in your father's life. Actually, it's not that long ago that the way the dollar used to work was that you would go to the bank and you would get the value of the dollars in gold, right? Now, for example, it's a lot easier to explain when it comes to Britain. So Britain has a pound, right? Now, the reason it's called a pound is because you could have gone with £1 to the bank and you would get a pound of gold in return. That's why it's called a pound. So, I think it was Nixon. Yeah, like Nixon was the one that said, we're taking the dollar off of the gold standard. So now you can't go to the bank with the dollar and demand the exchange for gold with the dollar that you're having. So why would people use dollars? Well, in the US, people use dollars because they want to pay taxes, right? Like you need to pay your taxes in dollars, which means that if you have a job, you need to be paid in dollars to be able to pay your taxes. Like, makes sense, right? So the only way you can use dollars, and this is how many nations function, is that you use them in order to pay taxes, which means that if I have dollars, they have value in the US because like I can buy goods and services in the US. But the US realized it's like, okay, well, we got the dollar and our people have a reason to use the dollar and people who do business with us need to use the dollar. But like, why would Romanians want to have dollars? Like, how can we give value to the dollar that's not on the gold standard to a Romanian? All right, because up until that day, if I had the dollar, I could have gone to the US and exchanged it for gold. So I could still have value with it. But all of a sudden, when the dollar was taken off the gold standard, like I don't pay taxes to Uncle Sam, so I don't need to have dollars, right? So the US, they went to Saudi Arabia, which is the biggest producer of oil in the world. And they told Saudi Arabia, it's like, look, if you sell oil in dollars only, we're going to give you our military and we're going to defend you. So now I, as a Romanian, right, like I got the foreign currency. This is my currency. Let's say this is the Romanian RON. If I want to buy oil from the Sauds, I have to take my currency, change it into dollars, and then buy the oil, right? I can't just use my currency to buy the oil. I need the dollar in order to do so. So the reason America can print money like crazy is because people will want the US dollar. Like, even if America prints like trillions of dollars, other nations can still want the American dollar in order to buy oil. So that's why, like, America is kind of protected from inflation compared to other countries. Like, if other countries printed trillions of their own currency like America did, they would have noticed, like, massive inflation. Like, it's not even funny compared to what's now in America. So, why am I talking about this? Well, the reason I'm talking about this, imagine if Saudi Arabia, and they're already talking about this, imagine if they stopped using, let's say, the dollar system, the petrodollar, and they would accept ones. Like, they would do a business with China, and they would say, all right, well, you can buy oil if you have one, right? All of the dollars, like every single dollar, those trillions of dollars that are now in other countries would flood back to America. Like, then you would notice, like, the American economy just be crippled overnight, right? So this is, it's not monopoly money, Peter. Like, I'm trying to explain to you that it's not monopoly money because you need to pay taxes with them and you need to buy oil. So it's not monopoly money. You can't do shit with monopoly money, all right? Like, just stop using arguments you heard on the internet. But my point is, if the Sauds would ever stop selling oil in dollars, you would have all the money flowing back into the US. And this is why you notice that there were a lot of wars in the Middle East. It's because of this, right? It's not because, like, we're bringing democracy to the Middle East. No. It's like right here. I believe there were other countries which tried to sell oil in other currency than the dollar. Or there were other countries which tried to use their currency on the gold standard. I believe Libya, right? Like, all of it is tied to economic reasons. And yes, it's not monopoly money. I really hate, it's like, oh my god, it's monopoly money. No, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not the gold standard either. But it's not monopoly. I'm not even a great economist. You don't even need to take the oil, right? Like, it's not about taking the oil. This is what I tried to explain. It's not about taking the oil. It's literally protecting your way of life. America had enough oil to be independent. Like you used to be energy independent under Trump. America doesn't need oil. But what America needs is for people not to send their dollars back to the US, right? Like I have friends who have dollars, right? But the reason they have dollars is because the dollar has value. Like people want it so they can use it to buy oil. If people don't need dollars to buy oil, then the dollar becomes worthless outside of the US. It's not going to become like worthless as in paper, because you still can use dollars to buy American goods and services with. So like if I want to buy an American car, I can use dollars, right? But it's not the same. Like it will lose so much in value. And because I can only use it to buy American services, then all the money will just flow back to the US. All the dollars. And you will notice a level of inflation unlike that the world has never seen before. Dollars can't flow back. Either foreigners will either have to buy goods and services. Yeah, but like that's literally what I'm saying. When a foreigner buys a good or services from the US, right? What happens with that dollar? Like the transaction means that I'm giving money back to the US. And you're going to have inflation. Like if you're a McDonald's in the US, right? And I have dollars as a Romanian. And I want to buy McDonald's, right? I'm buying a good from the US. I'm using the dollar that I have and I'm giving it to the McDonald's from the US and they give me the hamburger. But the dollar is now in the US, right? It used to be in Romania in my pocket. And now I'm giving it to the US because it's the only place where I can spend it. So you would have like all the money that you printed and is now in the rest of the world, like flowing back to the United States, creating one of the worst inflations in human history. You have $3? No, you don't. Who the fuck has $3? Why can't you have 5? V is saying that what V is saying is that a lot of banks hold dollars to use in exchange for international services because the USD is the most accepted currency globally. Yes, because everyone needs dollars to buy oil. That's why. But that would stop if Saudi Arabia would trade in ones. Does Romania take dollars in shops? No. But technically you can. I mean, there's no law forbidding it. And I think like for a while when the inflation skyrocketed in Romania, a lot of prices were set in dollars. So like technically you could just charge in dollars, but like no one does that. And then there are like a couple of services that charge you in euros, right? Because it's like the European Union. And they will say like for example my builder, right? Like when I renovated my apartment, I believe it was 7,000 or something like that, and was like, okay, 7,000 euros. But if I actually like went and got euros to pay him, like he would probably not want them, and no one does that, right? Like no one goes to the currency exchange to exchange money into euros. Hello Stu, how's it going? Iraq and Libya were both collapsed for trying to go off the dollar. Yeah. Again, it's not about bringing democracy. And I don't even know why the American government lies. Like, it would just be honest to people. It's like, yeah, well, your way of life would be fucked if we don't do this, so. So, I'm really glad that I got an announcement to make. I finally managed to get Lisa and Viri from Heaven X to talk to each other. Like, I really want to see those girls sing a karaoke. Like, that would be great. I'll pay top money for it. Okay. So, apologizing again for not having This Week is Stupid come out today. I've been having a couple of issues in real life. I think I'm getting old, really. I'm just getting very, very tired. But I'll try to be on time from now on, and it's going to be released tomorrow. It's a good This Week is Stupid, by the way. I like the way it came out. Hopefully you guys will tune in tomorrow to see it. And let's see, we got 10 more minutes. I guess if we have any questions from the chat. Well, Master Dravla, if you wait 10 more minutes, I'll be done, and you can leave when when it's finished. No, I didn't get Lisa. I'm going to watch her collab with Viri, hopefully, right? Like, I want to see her do a karaoke with Viri. I did email Tsunderia asking for Lisa, but, like, that was before the carnage of Tsunderia, and I think, like, they didn't check their emails. Technically, like, I don't think I would have much of a problem getting Lisa if I really asked. Like, if I asked her, it's like, hey, can you ask your boss, and blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe I could, but I'm not really... See, I'm more into VTubing as the entertainer that likes to watch, and because I'm a content creator, I guess I have enough influence to create the content that I want to see. So if I want to see Lisa and Viri collabing with each other, I can actually pull that off, you know? If I want to see Pippa do an interview with a Blizzard developer, I can make that happen. So like, I like using my soft power, if you will, in order to create the type of shit that I like to watch. Cause yeah, like, I like seeing Pippa interviewing Blizzard developers. I think that's funny as fuck. So I can do that. I personally, like, wouldn't necessarily enjoy collabing with Pippa. I think her chat wouldn't like that. Like, her subscribers wouldn't appreciate that type of content, to be honest. I don't think they like me very much either. So I would probably cause problems for her, right? Like, she would probably be placed in a situation where, you know, she might want to collab with me, but, like, her chat would hate it, and people would unsubscribe and stuff. So like, why do that? Like, why do that? I could just talk to her in DMs, and if I want to see something interesting coming out of her, I can just arrange it, you know, like the way I did with the Blizzard developer. She's getting another one. I also suggest, like, I think it's, I know who the Blizzard developer is, but I'm not going to name drop him, because if she wants to keep it a surprise, that's fine. It's also an OG, like a very old person at the company, and this one is a programmer, so not an artist. But that's the only thing I'll say. So yeah, I can always play, you know, like, if there's VTubers that I really like so far I haven't found a VTuber that I would say, oh my god, like, I really want to be friends with them, you know, like, I really connect with that person that I want to be. If that was the case, I could just play games with them offline. Like, I don't have to do a collab, you know? I can just ask them, it's like, hey, do you want to play some League of Legends or some shit? Hello, Ted, you bigot. Thank you for the donation. V is going to live vicariously through Viri and feel like he is singing with Lisa. Man, Viri is such a nice person. But the reason that I really wanted to help Viri is that she is incredibly nervous. Like, she's like a nervous wreck. She just doesn't know how to talk with other people that are bigger than her, right? So, like, if someone has, like, 5 more subscribers than her, she freaks the fuck out. And I was like, dude, like, it's, and she likes Lisa, right? Like, she's a big fan. And I'm like, dude, just talk to her. Just DM her like you're in the same fucking industry. Just contact her. And like, yeah, I'm afraid, I'm shy. And it's like, okay, well, since I helped Lisa and I had the way to talk to her, I would just DM Lisa. It's like, oh, I know this is awkward, but, like, can you talk with the deer? Because, like, she would appreciate that. And that was it. Like, yes, I do play League of Legends. I have many skins. Yeah, both Viri and Lisa are very sweet. Like, they're very nice ladies, and very fun to interact with. Like, for example, like Lisa, even behind the scenes, like, there's a lot of content creators that in front of the scenes they're a different person than they are behind. And then, you know, like, to some extent, everyone is, right? Because, like, we're entertaining people. So we do a lot of theater. Like, we overplay certain things. But what I'm saying is, like, there are a couple of streamers that are very nice when in front of the camera and complete assholes behind the camera. Or the opposite. Like, I also know streamers that are assholes in front of the camera, but very nice once you talk with them. So my point is, right? Lisa is not like that. Like, what you see is what you get. She is incredibly nice in front and behind the camera. She's very innocent and sweet. Same with Viri. Elon Musk finally reveals nuclear fusion reactor. The thing is, like, with Elon Musk, he's a salesman, so I don't know. I mean, I would be impressed if true, big if true, but oh my God, it's Friedrich Marx. Welcome back. Yeah, long time that has passed since you came here. But you're coming towards the end, so. And you also missed the VTubing arc. Why wouldn't they do theater towards other behind the camera as well? What's the point? I mean, doing theater is exhausting. Putting on a play is exhausting. You would, like, anyone that DM'd me, like, probably knows. I like getting, like in DMs, I get to the point. I'm not very funny. I don't make many jokes. I'm just like, okay, what do you want? Let's do whatever that is. And yeah, I think, like, the way I'm in front of the camera is that I try to be more funny. I make more jokes, and I get sometimes, like, I get more outraged than I should. But behind the camera, I'm a lot more chill, you know. And this is what it means to be an entertainer. I think, like, all people are like that. But there are people that, as I mentioned, like, they have completely different personalities on and off. I learned for 3 years this account was banned. How did you get it unbanned? Like, that's interesting. I thought that they usually ban accounts for life. They don't unban them. But anyway, right, let's end it here, because I don't want to spill the beans. You guys got me in a talking mood, and I'm talking about stuff that, yeah, it's probably not going to get me into trouble, but at the same time, you know, it's classified information. Hopefully I'll see Friedrich Marx again next time. I'm sorry I didn't, managed to stream at a more appropriate time. I really miss Friedrich Marx. You know, like, every now and then, I do think about some of the people that I used to see them in the chat, and when you don't see them, you start wondering, like, what happened to them. I mean, you know, I know Sock and Pupe, but, like, Billy Odell is someone that I remember, and I don't see him in the chat anymore. Rosalhim. Rosa comes every now and then, but, like, it used to be a regular. Let's see, who else do I remember? Oh yeah, there was that Australian guy, I forgot his name, the cabin boy. It's interesting, you know. The chat is a phenomenon that I don't think happened in human history before, right? Like, you get to see people that talk to you, But it's not like talking to a person. Because the chat keeps scrolling and everyone wants to have a say. So it's really interesting because you can talk to chat, but you're not really, right? Like, for example, I know that Coconut Tackle visits me quite often, right? But, like, I don't know what type of person he is. I don't even know if he's a guy or not, right? But I know that he likes my my videos. I know about some of his opinions, some of the things that he talks with. So it's really interesting. It's like, you kind of know these people, but you don't really know them. And sometimes you know that someone comes to your chat, and then one day they don't, and you start missing them. Anyway, right. V, let me buy you Tuhu Mistia Izayaka. I would probably love it, but I don't have time for it. Like, dude, I didn't even manage to get This Week is Stupid on time. So, I don't have time to read manga. I don't have time to watch anime. I don't have time to play video games. I'm sorry. Maybe when I finish paying the mortgage, which is half paid, by the way. Like, half more, and then I'll be debt-free. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and hopefully I'll